Comparing chapters 3 and 4. Chapter 3. Black Trash. Throughout the history of the United States and still today, blacks have been thought of as disposable, outsiders, a part of the problem. The first point in this chapter is black as a color and as a people, black being associated with private parts, blacks as savages or barbarians, and blacks as trash. Black as a color. The color black has always been associated with negative ideas such as death, violence, evil, garbage, savagery, dirty, nothingness, etc., while the color white has always been associated with positive ideas such as purity, cleanliness, godly, good, peace, life, etc. Black being associated with private parts. People do not like to talk about private parts or activities involving private parts. It is a topic of discussion people avoid because it makes them uncomfortable and is seen as inappropriate. The same ideas apply to black people and problems black people face in society. White people avoid these topics because it makes them feel uncomfortable. Blacks as savages. Black people have always been seen as savages or barbarians, opposite of civilized or white people. Because of this automatic separation between the two races, black people have always been pushed into a separate society in one way or another. An example of this is during the Industrial Revolution, when blacks were being given more dirty, dangerous jobs than whites because their idea was you don't have to be smart to do these types of jobs, and white people were too good to do dirty jobs. Black trash. Blacks have been seen as a contamination themselves, so they have been pushed into places already contaminated. To keep the disease from spreading, you must contain it, type of thinking. This way of thinking pushed blacks into inner cities, ghettos, housing arrangements, crowded spaces, etc. This allows the people who are contaminated, blacks, stay away from the pure or uncontaminated whites. The state. The state acts on behalf of white citizenry, not black citizenry. It pours resources into privileged white-dominated communities by building schools, infrastructure, highways, creating jobs, police protection, etc. It creates our space and their space. But even their space is still ours because these are the spaces we force them into. Chapter 4. Anti-Black Racism. An effort to weed out the blackness or pollution from the purity of whiteness. In our society, blackness has to always be explained, while whiteness is never expected to be explained. As a black person, you are seen as representing your entire race, but as a white person, you are just representing yourself. Whiteness sees itself as self-justified. The only way to be accepted as a black person in an anti-black racist society is denigrification. This is to disappear, to act white, to talk white, dress white, be white, to not ever mention any part of your blackness. Anti-black racists don't really care or want to know what black people want. They just want them to shut up so they can stop feeling uncomfortable themselves. These two chapters go hand in hand because they both discuss how Western society has seen blacks throughout history and still today. It may not be as obvious today as it was in history, but these ideas still exist today. These ideas are the foundation of many problems of race we see today. They are deeply rooted in Western culture. We cannot blame black people for crime, violence, poverty, etc. because our